Hello and welcome to another analysis behind the news. The shooting that occurred last week in Virginia against GOP members of Congress has brought to a head the hateful rhetoric that has consumed the political left since at least the second term of President Obama. If you take a look through news headlines regarding right-wing extremists in the last few years, you'll see that some media portrayed them to be more dangerous than ISIS and Islamists, according to Newsweek and Time. Yet, where are those right-wing extremists? And which extremists filled the streets during the 2016 presidential campaign, creating violent clashes and destroying property? Which extremists filled the streets targeting the police in major cities to decry false accounts of police brutality? Has the news covered these extremists? Has the Southern Poverty Law Center sent intelligence to the police regarding the threats these extremists are capable of? Well, of course they haven't. Yet, the John Birch Society has been covering these extremists through the New American, our online and printed news magazine. JBS affiliate, the Law Enforcement Charitable Foundation, has sent intelligence to every police chief and sheriff in the U.S. regarding these extremists. Even in the aftermath of the Virginia shooting last week, you'll notice the media downplaying the capabilities of left-wing extremists, broad-brushing this as due to mental illness, or shifting the blame to the availability of guns, or even that it's the right's gun obsession problem that is to blame. This type of mental gymnastics has been shown time and time again. For example, some left-wing historians love to discuss the climate of hate that the right wing supposedly created in the fall of 1963 in Dallas that they claim contributed to the assassination of President Kennedy. Yet, they fail to adequately connect the dots that would explain why a communist would pull the trigger. Did this climate of hate push an unstable, hard leftist into fatal action? The truth is that the establishment media, as polarizing as it is today, has been that way since the medium demonstrated the type of persuasion and control it could have over the masses. It's nothing new. We produced a video called Behind the Big News in 2003 that documented the bias of the mainstream news that essentially created a one-way flow of information that was politically one-sided. With the advent of the internet, has this gotten better since all of us can access more news sources? Well, let us suggest that it's actually gotten worse. Polls have shown an increasing trend of internet users getting their news and political influence from their Facebook news stream. Do you think that most people would friend those that share their worldview? Now think about that for a minute. What do you think their news stream is filled with? Is it filled with news that challenges their beliefs or supports them? Plus, add all the intolerance that the left is famous for, how they are so easily manipulated into thinking that the world is collapsing because Bernie or Hillary didn't get in, that Obama's legacy is being torn up, that their moral foundation is basically non-existent, that truth is a relative concept, and that ending human life is an option based on inconvenience or unhappiness, and you have a recipe for disaster. We have been predicting that this summer we'll see much violence coming from the hard left, and unfortunately it looks like it's heading in that direction. We hope we're wrong, but when we see organization behind much of the violence, the only way to stop it is to expose it. In fact, some JBS members did this during the 1960s and 1970s civil rights riots. The hard left had planned demonstrations that had ended up becoming violent in other cities, being burned, and widespread looting occurring. Members went door to door in many inner cities to let the residents know of these plans. Some protest events ended up being canceled, and others did not devolve, I should say, into violence as residents either stayed home to guard their property or were proactively exposing the agents provocateurs. We do not encourage anyone to attend planned protests or demonstrations due to safety concerns. The foundation for being an effective liberty advocate begins in your local community among those leaders and entrepreneurs, not from behind a bullhorn in the middle of a street or intersection. Talk to your family, friends, neighbors, co-workers, and church or temple goers about getting involved with the John Birch Society. Share with them the ground game for building an educated electorate that shines a disinfecting light on the organizations that want to keep us polarized and at each other's throats in order to hide what is actually happening behind the scenes. Don't give the left the pass that it seeks to not be accountable for the violence it contributes to. If you're not yet a member of JBS, visit jbs.org for your options. And be sure to like and share this video with family and friends. Sign up for our e-newsletters and subscribe to our social media channels. Until next time, we'll see you then.